All right, welcome back to Bayou Time. And as we showed you last week, a pretty contentious or chippy council meeting here in Terrebonne Parish. But by all accounts, nothing new. I've been covering council meetings since 1985. They've been chippy for a long time. We had the parish president on. I had promised people I would ask the question, why it was so chippy, what happened, what was the backstory. He replied. I got several calls from some council people who wanted some equal time, and here we are. Danny Babin, District 7, is with us today. Danny, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Martin. I really appreciate it. And before we get started, I'd like to send my condolences out to the Voisin family. Mr. Clayton Voisin was the councilman for District 7 prior to me being on the council, and Clayton did a great job for the 12 years that he served on the council. So my heart and prayers go, and thoughts and prayers go out to his wife and his entire family.
Yeah, and we brought it up yesterday. He was quite a colorful person.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Okay.
He was a man that you may not always agreed with him, but in the end, it all worked out.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
All right, so let's get down to brass tacks.
Sure.
We're here to talk about the council, and like I said before, if I go back to the days of Alan Bonvillain, Donald Landry, and that whole gang, I think they sort of broke me in as a reporter on what it was like to cover council meetings. So to be very honest, anything past those years doesn't really faze me, because those were some pretty chippy meetings back then. This was a contentious meeting. I guess the first question would be, Mr. Dove was on the other night. You obviously took some exceptions to what he was saying. I want to give you the floor a little bit and let you talk about trying to set some of that straight in your opinion. What was the backstory in your opinion? What happened? Who was voting for who? What happened? I'll give you a chance.
Well, there again, the word backdoor politics has been thrown around a lot in this particular situation. I wonder if the group of people that voted the way they did think that the people in Terrebonne Parish are naive enough to think that that was just a spontaneous thing the other night, that somebody nominated Darren Guidry and they had a vote and it was over with. Why is it not backdoor politics when they talked, but yet when we talk, it's backdoor politics? I have a problem distinguishing between the two.
You know, and in fairness, I hear that from both sides. I hear that, why is it good if they win in this situation, but not good if they lose? But I hear it from both sides. And I guess my point is, to me, it's just good old-fashioned Louisiana politics. And I think some people watching, a lot of people that we come in contact with in the public, they really don't have a clue how all this is decided. So when they see a meeting like this, they're going,
sure, there's no doubt about it. Martin,
you know?
Listen, as elected officials, as a council of 9, we are not allowed by law to be 5 of us together at one time. Now, socially you can. Basically, the law says that you can't be there to discuss an item on the agenda.
Can't have a quorum.
You can't have a quorum. A quorum of a 9-man council is 5 people, okay? But that doesn't mean that each individual council person is not going to draw off one of the other council people who may be more informed in a certain area. So sure, you throw back. Mr. Dove sat on the legislature for 12 years. I'm sure he did a lot of what we're calling backdoor politics there, okay? You know, he made a statement last night that when I was on the council before that I wasn't elected chairman. He's correct. I was elected vice chairman when I was on before, and I was vice chairman this last year. Mr. Dove served 12 years in the legislature. I don't think he was ever elected Speaker of the House. So is there a problem there? So first and foremost, we shouldn't even have been talking about this right now. There are much more important issues in this parish that we need to be talking about.
And that was my next line of questioning would be, God, I think people are sort of tired of there's really a split council. It's been split, and agree or disagree, Darren Guidry became the deciding vote in the last 2 council elections. Well, so whether he's smart or shrewd or whatever it was. He was the actual deciding vote.
He is the chairman. He was elected chairman, and I honor that, okay? It was said last night that I pulled my name out when we realized, and when I keep saying we, you know, Mr. Dove only brought up Gerald Michel and myself last night. He didn't bring up Councilman Dirk Guidry, and he didn't bring up Councilman John Amedee, who felt the exact same way that we did, simply because last year, Mr. Darren Guidry, and he admitted to me on the phone this morning, because it's the first time he's contacted me since the election, because I texted him, and he admitted that, yes, we did have a deal last year, a handshake agreement that he was going to be chairman, I was going to be vice chairman, and even Mr. Dove mentioned it last night. I was going to be chairman this year and Dirk Guidry the vice chairman. I don't think that's backdoor dealing. That is exactly what it was. So I don't hide that particular fact, okay? But my point is why is this such a big deal? We voted, and now let's move on to the work of the parish. Let's not worry about this. Mr. Dove again said last night that Darren Guidry was his choice.
All right, hold that thought, Mr. Babin. We'll take a short break here on Bayou Time. We'll be back with more with Councilman Danny Babin right here on Bayou Time. Don't go away.
The new year is here, and A.J. Doman Chevrolet is happy to announce we are South Louisiana's newest business elite, medium duty, and commercial dealer. We are now taking orders for all business and fleet customers. Looking for a car or truck and can't find what you're looking for? Come see us. We have over 150 used cars in stock, and new cars arriving daily.
And remember, no credit, bad credit, foreclosure, we can help.
A.J. Doman Chevrolet at the foot of the Morgan City Bridge in Berwick.
And welcome back to Bayou Time. Martin Folse along with Councilman Danny Babin, District 7 here in Terrebonne Parish. All the council's been invited on. If they haven't been called, they'll be seeing this telecast. They're all invited to come on and talk about what we called a contentious meeting that happened during the election of officers last week. We showed you that on Bayou Time and on social media. So once again, we continue our discussion. The parish president made some comments. Others wanted to answer those comments, and in fairness, we said yes. So here we go, and we're back with Danny Babin, Councilman, District 7. I think we'd all agree that it was different that he got on and spoke his mind. Wasn't real happy because obviously in Mr. Michel's mind, there was, I'm not going to use the word deal, agreement.
A gentleman's agreement.
There was an agreement that because the vote went the way it did the previous election, that obviously in his opinion, he thought Darren Guidry would vote, and I always say the splits up, for one side versus the other. Depends on which side you're on.
Right.
And it didn't happen because Darren Guidry had to vote for himself because they nominated him. So I'm sort of curious as to how that plays out and how that falls out, because that's an odd thing to happen. But I guess my question to everyone would be, would they expect Darren Guidry not to vote for himself?
No, no one of us, the four of us that voted the other way, ever thought that Darren was not going to accept it once it would, you know, once you dangle that carrot in front of somebody, it's very hard not to want to take a bite off of it, okay? So Darren did, okay? And he won legitimate 5-4 vote. But again, don't tell me that last Wednesday night that was a spontaneous thing that happened. That was well planned and orchestrated. It didn't happen that day or the day before. It's been going on probably a few weeks. I don't know for a fact.
But we'd agree that both sides are well orchestrated.
Well, there's no doubt about it, okay? Yeah,
And what I'm trying to say is it's not controversial to me when we're talking about this, because I've seen the past councils, and I've seen, I mean, they've invited people outside to have a little ruckus sometimes in the past. But
yeah, that's what I've heard.
To me, it's politics.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you know, politics does not have to be a bad thing, okay? Just because someone I've been married to my wife for 51 years, and I can assure you we've had some knockdown, drag-outs, but at the end of the day, we get along, and she is my wife for 51 years. There is no reason that if we have opposing views that you have to be an enemy with someone.
You know, I think Carly might have said it best the other night at the council meeting when he spoke. He said as soon as that vote's over, 5-4, he's working for the people, and he's working for his God, and his God's going to direct him where to go, and you know, he's going to have to answer to God one day. And when I listened to that, I went, I think that's where maybe everyone needs to be.
Those words were very important, and they do resonate in my head as well. Carly was extremely right on that. You know, Morton, for 90 days after the storm, I have a terrific boss that I work for, okay, at Jensen Tuna. And he allowed me every day to be down in the Dulac, Grand Kai area and in the Bay de Lodge area, two areas that were hit very hard. The Lodge was hit not near as hard as Grand Kai, but I was down there for 90 straight days, and I dealt with the problems of the people and us trying to get them forward. I was fortunate enough, Morton, to be involved with a group of benefactors who I can honestly say have put up over $1 million of private dollars now to help out the buyers. We've remodeled, if you will, over 165 homes. 6 new houses are going to be built. Trailers have been brought down, not state trailers, private trailers down there have been done. So I'm very proud of the fact that that's what I have been doing. I never saw Mr. Dove down there one time, okay? And the people in the buyer know that he was never down there. So, you know, we want to cast aspersions on my character, then I want to cast them back on his. Is that going to heal our wounds? Absolutely not. But there is no reason, Martin, that we should, again, I've repeated myself 5 or 6 times, there's no reason we should be talking about this tonight. Let's move forward.
But just to say, I've been down the bayous quite a bit. I've been down every one of them.
I know you have.
Multiple times, and in all fairness to everyone, I've seen a lot of people on the bayou. So I would think that we wouldn't get down to that point where, and I'm not saying this about you, I'm saying about anybody, counting the times that we go down there, let's just be effective. And I would hope that with everything that's going on in Terrebonne Parish, that, man, we could find some common ground, and you could say, man, Mr. Dove's done great in this area, and he could say, Danny, you've done great in this area, and we could just move forward with the business at hand.
I would like to be able to say that, Morton, but I can't because he won't say anything good about me.
All right, tough subject, and a lot of people involved, and a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings. We'll take a short break. When we come back, more on this subject as we continue with Bayou Time.
Are you looking for a new or used vehicle? Well, come check us out at Barker Honda because we get new, updated inventory daily.
We're offering top dollar for your trade.
Give us the opportunity to buy your car.
We offer new and used financing.
Come check out our award-winning trucks.
For cars, trucks, SUVs, come check us out.
Our sales specialists can help find the vehicle just for you.
We're getting new inventory daily.
Come down and see us on Martin Luther King Boulevard in Holman. Always remember,
it's better at Barker.
And welcome back to Bayou Time. Once again, our guest is Danny Babin, Councilman District 7, who is answering some comments made by the parish president of Terrebonne Parish, Gordon Dove, on our program this week. We've invited councilmen who were in that conversation to have equal time, and some of them are extending that a bit, so we do offer equal time for anyone who wants to come on, as always, right here on Bayou Time. We continue with Councilman Danny Babin, District 7.
We talk about our levee system in this parish, and Lake Boudreaux is the biggest reservoir that we have. If the Morganton to the Gulf would happen to be overtopped, Lake Boudreaux would absorb all of that water.
But I think you heard Chip Klein on this show actually divert some money, so I think Lake Boudreaux's going to have some solution.
And I understand that, but I want people to understand right now that Lake Boudreaux is encircled by parish levees, except for about a 3-mile section in the northwest section of Lake Boudreaux, which is from the landfill going south to Cedar Grove. That's the northwest section of Lake Boudreaux. If this storm would have been a normal storm, and if it would have moved a little bit further to the west, those 180 or whatever mile-an-hour winds that we had that blew 9 foot of water onto Robinson would not have blown it that way. It would have come out, the winds would have been out the south and southeast, and they'd have blown that water north, and the entire section of East Homer would have been flooded. For 7 years, there's no levee going up there. And they say it's because Corps of Engineers. I have no reason to believe that that's not true. But but Martin, this is important to say.
No, I hear you.
Let's not talk about how you protecting the parish when you leaving these people open. That also affects Chabert Hospital.
But I look in stages because I've been around for the whole thing. I've been around since I had the Time for Action rally at the Civic Center when Kathleen Blanco brought $10 million to start it off. And I'm not saying that for credit. I've been there. I got skin in the game. So I'm watching year in and year out things happen. And look, there's nobody that did not take blame when the reverse head on this storm flooded a lot of people from Boudreaux and Robinson. But Chip Klein on this show said, we got to fix it. So I look in increments, and I don't look to pass by. I just want everybody to sit at the table and say, okay, we got a problem. We didn't expect this to happen. But let's fix the damn thing so it don't happen again.
Oh, no, and I agree with you 100%. But let's remember, this is a parish levy we're talking about, okay? And there was money left over in the last administration to do that. The whole point of coming on here today was, and I have to admit, I apologize, I wasn't watching your program last night. Somebody was watching it on FaceTime, or Facebook, excuse me, and they said, you may want to take a look at this on there, and that's why I called you right after, because you made the offer on this program, if anybody wants to come up here and rebut this.
But you're making my point.
You know,
you called me and said, can I come on?
That's exactly
and what did I
right.
tell you?
Yeah, you said, of course.
All right, so if you ever call me and want to come on, I would say yes, because it's what we do.
Good, but then you will start getting some calls from me, okay?
I mean,
because I want to talk about the needs.
But I don't want it out to the public that we're not trying to put people on the air.
And if I implied that to the public, that's not what I meant, okay? But what I'm trying to tell you is I would love to come on here on a regular basis and talk about the needs of Terrebonne Parish. And naturally, because I represent District 7, I would like to bring up the needs of District 7. But if I can't get along with the parish president, do you think the needs of District 7 are going to be taken care of, like maybe the other districts? Again, I said earlier, why do I not enjoy the same benefits as the other elected officials? We were all elected by the people, okay? And that's not happening, okay?
But you would agree with me that it's been a contentious few years.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I expect the next 2 years probably to be the same.
I want to make it clear again, I've never denied anybody a chance to be on this news desk. So whenever any of the council wants to come on the news desk, I'm a phone call away.
Well, and I just want the people of this district, of Terrebonne Parish, especially my district, they all know my cell phone number. I have no problem putting my cell phone number out there because I answer my telephone calls. If not, I get back to the people that day to solve the problems. I will always work for the people of District 7 and all of the people of Terrebonne Parish for as long as I am on the council.
All right. I appreciate you coming, Mr. Babin. Thank you so much. And we've invited everyone on the council to come and talk about the meeting that we started discussing. Sort of went in different avenues and as interviews tend to do occasionally. So we'll take a break. When we come back, and on social media, you can check the different titles to get the different interviews with the people who decided to come on board. We'll be right back.